Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being with us again today. So what do you get when you take a compact Glock frame and you pair it up with a full-size slide and barrel? Well, apparently you get the Glock 47, and apparently it's supposed to be a big deal. Well, we're going to go over all the specifications here. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to find out why in just a minute. Alright, once again, welcome back. Thanks for being with us again today. If this is your first time coming to the channel, or if you've been watching our videos and just haven't had a chance to do so before now, and you like our content, please consider subscribing. You can locate that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your computer screen, or you can scroll down below the video if you're on a mobile device, and you can hit the subscribe button that way. It's a simple thing that helps out a whole lot, and we really appreciate it. So, Glock 47. We'll get into these amazing differences that make this apparently a big deal for Glock fans. Have been waiting for this to come out. But we're going to do our traditional size comparison here to start with, because letting you see what they've done here help put it in perspective. There's a Glock 17 I've got next to it, and you can see, of course, that you have the full-size slide. You can see the difference, of course, in the frame, where they start and stop. Now, as far as I'm concerned, obviously we're going to be dealing with a lot of our critique on this firearm. Of course, we're looking very closely at concealed carry value for this handgun. And to me, it's just like carrying a Glock 17. People can argue that point, but to me, that's still what I'm looking at, is carrying a Glock 17, which isn't my first choice for concealed carry, but that's okay. I know a lot of people that carry full-size firearms, and I think if they can do it, great. Of course, here's a Glock 19, just for comparison, and you can see once again that compact frame. But of course, you do have the longer slide and barrel. So once again, as far as carry goes, to me, you're still going to be toting quite a bit of handgun with the Glock 47. But that gives you a pretty good idea of what that is going to look like when it's on your hip. Alright, we're going to jump right into the features here, but before we do, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends over at Don's Weaponry for providing us this beautiful example of the Glock 47 for our tabletop review today. Don's Weaponry is a huge supporter of firearm safety and education, and we can't thank them enough. So, I'll tell you before we even get started, there's nothing really new or groundbreaking as far as features on this Glock 47, so we're going to do just a cursory overview of what a normal Glock would have, and start with a quick safety check here, removing the magazine. You can see that we are clear, there's nothing in the chamber, and there's nothing in the handgun. So you got your standard Glock sights here, they're not much to them. A little U channel in the rear and a dot in the front. Just fine. I can shoot just fine with these. I prefer like a fiber optic or a glow sight or something on the front, but that's just me. You got your optics plate here, your typical Gen 5 rear and front serrations. You've got your accessory rail, normal trigger. You've got your slide, stop, and release here. And of course your magazine release. Everything is pretty typical of what you would see on a Glock. Of course, you have your 3 different back strap configurations. You can add a back strap to change to the additional sizes here. And if you look right here, all these Glocks, of course, come apart in similar fashion. You've got this lever here, and there's a matching one on the other side. So you pull this back ever so slightly on the slide. You grab both of these down and then push forward. And then, of course, that's how you get off your slide and to where you can remove your spring and your barrel here. This is a Glock 19 recoil system that's built into this, which is, supposed to be part of what makes it awesome. But that is your basic overview of the handgun. They do give you 3 magazines. I do like that. Anytime I get a handgun where I get at least 2 or 3 mags, always makes me happy. So it's what you'd expect in a Glock package, not really anything more or less than what you would expect. Alright, so let's talk about the range. So for all the mega Glock fanboys out there, fair warning, this is the part of the video where I tell you that the Glock 47 doesn't really perform any different or any better than any other Glock handgun. And that's just the truth. I was able to join up with a party to go shoot this, and some of the people there were a little better equipped with their devices. They had meters where they could measure the feet per second velocity that they were getting out of their various handguns. And shooting a Glock 19, a Glock 19X, a 17, and this firearm, really comparing all of them together, the velocities that you achieved out of the handgun had a lot to do with what kind of ammo. Even ammo out of the same box, you got different, feet per second ratings. And watching people shoot, there wasn't really a lot of direct evidence that this configuration of the smaller frame and longer barrel resulted in any better accuracy, because anyone who tells you a longer barrel guarantees better accuracy forgets that someone actually has to shoot that handgun to achieve the accuracy. But like all Glocks, of course, it wasn't picky about what kind of ammo, whether it's range ammo or hollow points. It's perfectly fine. It's a perfectly good handgun. It's fun to shoot. Just like all the large, Glock handguns. It runs well. It's very reliable. So I think that if you're just wanting a larger Glock handgun that has the latest of what Glock has to offer, this is one way to do it. But I wouldn't buy the Glock 47 expecting it to be a better performing or more accurate handgun than any other Glock 9mm handgun. So what's it like to carry the Glock 47 as a concealed carry handgun? Well, for a gun like this, once again, this is essentially for me a Glock 17. Now, I've got dozens of different holster configurations for this. I've got, crossbreed leather and Kydex. I've got regular leather, like, Galco leather outside the waistband. I've got some inside the waistband configurations on that too. And pretty much any way I carry a Glock 17, with this handgun the same way, it's a bigger gun than I really prefer to carry. Now, I can carry a gun like this in a larger holster like that crossbreed and not be uncomfortable, but I feel like that when I have a gun that big on me, I feel like I'm constantly having to adjust it. I'm having to move the holster around on the belt line. It's just a little more than I'm comfortable carrying. Now, there are people who can carry guns this size, even much larger ones, with complete ease. And if that's you, number one, my hat's off to you, but that's great. Like I say, we all have different preferences. But to me, and maybe it's just the further I go along in my journey, my gun journey, and the older I get, the smaller I'm trying to scale down my handguns. I'm trying to get the most accurate, the most reliable performance in the smallest package I can, and capacity is okay, but it's not my primary concern. So to me, you can carry this. It's not going to be the most comfortable thing in the world, and to me, it's not really the ideal size for a concealed carry handgun. It's great for just about anything else, though. So overall impressions of the Glock 47. Well, if you want to get everything that's available as far as the newest technology in a Glock, this is a good way to do it. Having the Glock 19 recoil system and the smaller frame paired up with the longer slide and barrel, a lot of people like that combination in their handgun. From what I can see, there's not really any big difference in performance, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth having. You get the best of everything that Glock offers on a modern handgun, including their, optics mounting area there. And of course, you got their good capacity. There's nothing wrong with having 17+1 in the chamber, and of course, having a couple extra mags to back you up. So, I guess the best way for me to describe this would be it's a good gun. To me, its role is more of a, home defense, general use gun. I would carry a gun like this, on my property all day long. I like larger frame and larger capacity guns when I'm doing that kind of thing. But I don't think this is the kind of gun that I would look to get as a concealed carry firearm. And with all the other Glock options I already have, I'm not even sure I would have looked to it for any other role. But if you don't already have one, I think that this would be a good choice if you want to get introduced to everything about Glock. So it's not bad. But once again, it's not really a concealed carry handgun to me, and there's not really anything new or groundbreaking. And if anybody tells you that this is a more accurate, better shooting gun with this combination, I can't really see any evidence of that yet, and I'm going to keep my eye out for someone that can. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today, everybody. As always, we really appreciate you joining us today. We'll be back very soon with another video for you. So until that time, everyone, please be safe and have a great day. Thank you very much.